Dee TV Show. I'm Carita Dee. So glad to have you. Hey, listen, this is our Facebook pre-show. Just a little time for us to get together just before the show starts. I kind of give you a little sneak peek behind the scenes so that you know exactly what's going on here and how you can be a part of it. Hey, listen, I just want to say a big shout out to all my girls out there who are watching. So always so glad to have you on board. Hey, listen, hey to my Facebook family. If you know anyone, one of three people, if you know anyone who has cancer right now, two, if you have cancer right now, or you know someone who has passed from cancer, I want you to call in, okay? Because what I want to do is use this show to really honor those who are dealing with cancer or who have passed from cancer. And I certainly want you to be a part of it so that we can form a real unique group right here among each other, so that as we grow and talk some more about these cancer issues, we will bring more and more people in. I just lost someone that I knew to cancer just recently. And so we're going to be talking about that tonight right here on Facebook as well. So I want to get my Facebook family together first before the show actually starts, okay? Shh. And so that we can talk about it. So make sure that if you have cancer, if you know someone who has cancer, if you know someone who has passed from cancer, that's what we're going to be talking about. So we're getting ready in just a moment to start the show. Stay here with me, okay? 467-1046, 246 area code.
He's come to heal your wounded soul and set your spirit free. Mother, sister, best friend or wife, the message is still the same. A girlfriend, get alive. Oh, girlfriend, get alive.
Well, welcome to the Carita Dee TV Show. I'm Carita Dee, and of course, it's another great day that God has made, and we're going to have some joy up in the house tonight. All I can tell you is it's going to be another show with a difference, because we aim here to please you, to really impact your life, to make your life so much better than what it is right now. And we believe just what God says, that He came that we might have life and have it more abundantly. We're going to be talking to all the girlfriends, all the guy friends. We're going to be bringing people in from all parts of the world, as we've been doing for the last few nights, and we're going to bring people right into the studio with us as well, so that we can talk about these things that are so important to us. You know, when we get together as girlfriends, many times we're talking about catty stuff, or, you know, we're talking about things that really don't concern us. Maybe we're gossiping, or we're just wasting time. But I think that it's so important that we get together and talk about issues that can actually affect our lives, make our lives so much better. We want to talk about our children, and we want to talk about our relationships, and we want to talk about our health. We want to talk about the spiritual aspect of our lives. And that's what the Carita Dee TV show is all about. It's about empowering women to get back on track. Now, I don't forget about the guys, of course, because I know you guys are listening as well. But predominantly, this is a show to get women back on track. The guys are here because you want to listen, so that you can become better men as well, so that you can assist us and we can assist you. In the meantime, though, I want to make sure that you know the phone numbers, so we're going to put the phone numbers right there on the screen. You can call us here in Barbados at 246-467-1046, or if you're in the Caribbean, we have a toll-free number for you to call, and that number is right there on the screen again. I just missed it. It is 855-213-7500. So you make sure that you call me if you're in the Caribbean, toll free. We're going to keep putting the numbers up there all the time so that you will get a chance to call in. The reason I'm doing that, especially tonight, is because I want to make sure that all of you are honoring your loved ones. Okay, this is an opportunity to honor your loved ones. On top of that, it is important that people around the world see the record number of cancer patients that are existing, and that's existing right now in Barbados and in Jamaica and in Trinidad and in Guyana and in Belize and in Curacao, in Antigua, in St. Lucia, in St. Kitts, all of you all of you around the Caribbean, and of course we're out there in the rest of the world as well. Right here where we are in the Caribbean, we have particular issues when it comes to cancer. And so we want to deal with those issues tonight. We want you to see that many of us are surviving it, but at the same time, we have some alarming rates, and that we want to get to the bottom of it. I think gone are the days where we can say that we have leprosy or things like that. That used to be the big scary word, back in the day. Everybody said leprosy, and it was like, oh my God. Believe it or not, there's still some leprosy clinics around, but nobody really even thinks about that anymore, because we conquered it. And the same way that we conquered leprosy, and the same way that we conquered cholera, is the same way that cancer can be conquered as well. It's just that for so long, we've made it such a huge thing. And I'm not discrediting the fact that you may be scared by it, but the fact remains that I believe that this is just part of a process in the generations that we have to go through to get to the next level, okay? So with that in mind, I want to take the stigma and the fear of cancer out. I find that so many of our women, as soon as you hear the word cancer, it's like a death sentence. And I don't see that in the Bible. So as long as I live by the word of God, I can't live by anything else. I want to make sure that you guys understand that it's not something that has to be a death sentence. There are people being cured from cancer. I remember many, many years ago, you had that famous basketball player. Do you remember? Do you remember Magic Johnson? Yeah, when he came out, everybody said AIDS. Oh gosh, he'll be dead in a minute. Well, Mr. Magic Johnson is just as fine today as, inverted commas. He is fine as in well as he was all those years ago. So it means today that something is happening along the way that is actually improving our health. Something he did obviously made him sustainable and AIDS-free right now. So what we want to know tonight is, how are people being cured? What is this big secret that some people have that the rest of us don't have? Why is it that some of us are dying and some of us are living for 20 and 30 years? How is it that some people have access to certain things and other people don't? What are some of the things that people are using naturally that we grow right here in the Caribbean that drugs are being made from? Maybe we have access to some things that other people don't even know that we have access to. So we're going to form this huge community right here on the Carita Dee TV Show. And we're going to talk to each other and share with each other and encourage each other and cry with each other and laugh with each other, so that we get to the point where we're back on track. I am sick and tired of hearing women call me and say, that's it, I'm ready to go home to be with God. Who's ready to go home to be with God at 40? You know how people tell you, well, it was their time. I will never, ever in my life, never in my life believe that 40 years old is your time. The reason why I don't believe it is because I read in the Bible that he says, with long life, he will satisfy me and show me his salvation. And baby, 40 years old ain't no long life. Okay? So if you can't tell me that what God says, I don't want to hear from you. Yeah, I get people, sometimes the old people, God bless them, will say, oh, well, it was his time. The baby was 10 years old. What are you talking about? That is just absolutely ridiculous. Sometimes we say things that we just sound so foolish, we don't even know how foolish we sound. Yeah, we've all done it, right? So we're going to correct that tonight now. Stop saying that, because you're putting words into the atmosphere, and start speaking correctly about these things. No longer are we going to have a fear about cancer, all right? Between you and me, girlfriend, we're not going to have a fear about cancer. We're going to find a way to cure it. That's the bottom line. And there are ways, because people are being cured. That's what we're going to talk about tonight on the Carita Dee Show. Are you ready? Can you get your pencils and put the number down, because it's going to pop up on the screen one more time, so that you will be equipped to call in tonight. I need you to call me tonight. so that you can show that you are in support of what we're doing here on the Carita Dee TV show. Hey, listen, I'm Carita Dee. You know my name. I don't know yours, but I'm going to be talking about you. Coming right back in just a moment, right here with me, Carita Dee.
Sister, best friend, or wife, the message is still the same. A girlfriend, get alive. Oh, girlfriend, get alive.
We are on Facebook. Join the growing CaribVision community today. Go to www.facebook.com/CaribVision. Be a part of our online family, whether you are located in Canada, the USA, or even farther away. CaribVision is about what it means to be from the Caribbean, our culture, our lifestyles, our voices. Log on or switch us on. CaribVision.
This hurricane tip comes to you compliments the Caribbean Disaster Emergency Management Agency and the Caribbean Media Corporation. Be prepared. Keep a working flashlight and batteries available during the hurricane season.
Well, you're back with me, Carita Dee. So glad to have you back in the house. And I've got a very, very special guest in the house with me. He is none other than our dear friend, Dr. Stan. Dr. Stan, welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you.
I'm so glad to have you here with me.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're going to be talking about this cancer and this whole cancer scare. You know, it is really, really disheartening to hear people freak out, basically, when they hear the word cancer.
Absolutely. That's been going on for some time, and it stems from the fact that over the years, as we become more westernized, I think we've drifted away. And by the way, we should let folks know that cancer is in all of our bodies.
Yes, it is.
There are cancer cells there.
Yes.
And I often use the phrase, it's how you fertilize that seed.
Ah, that's good.
Okay. So the point then I was about to make was that we have changed in the Caribbean. If you look back at folks, whether they were raised by their grandparents or raised by mom and dad, they ate a certain way. Today we have folks that are eating completely opposite to what their parents or their grandparents, the strategies they followed, you know, in terms of nutrition.
Incredible that you should say that. I have a great example of that. I have a 96-year-old aunt.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Great health all through the years.
Yes.
And it just dawned on me just, you know, recently. What is it that she has done consistently for 96, you know, for all of her life?
Sure.
A cup of ginger tea every day.
Yeah.
That's, I mean, without knowing all the other things that she was doing, I do know that she drank ginger tea every single day.
Yes.
And she's never had a cancer scare in her life.
Probably with little or no sugar in it.
No sugar at all.
There you go. There you go.
No sugar at all.
We have kids in Barbados. I can't speak too much for other Caribbean territories, but I'm sure it's about the same.
Yeah.
We have kids in this country, Carita, 7, 8, 10 years old. We had a patient recently, not even in their 20s
wow.
yet, with a type of cancer, osteosarcoma, bone cancer,
Yes.
which is kind of rare for that age group.
Yes.
You know, in an vastly older person, yes, possibly.
Right.
But not in someone under 20 years of age.
Wow.
Outside of the cancer, we have children in Barbados, for sure I know about this, 7, 8, and 10 years old on insulin. They're type 1 diabetics.
Wow.
And we're going to go back to
Yeah.
our cancer story in a minute, but
Right.
diabetes is also ripping right through the
Right
region.
right through our region.
And if you look at what youngsters and even adults
Yeah.
are eating, those are the contributing factors.
Exactly.
It's exactly what we're eating.
And I really wanted to talk about this because we talk about spirit, soul, and body. So you get situations where I am very big in the spiritual community. People know me in the spiritual community very well. And I'm invited to churches all the time to speak. And when I go in to preach or teach at churches, one of the things that I have found is that the teaching of the church is, which is true, is based on spiritual principles, the laying on of hands and healing of the sick, which I have no problem with. I believe in that 100%. But at the same time, okay, faith without works is dead. Okay, so I think to myself, even if I had cancer, God forbid, never going to happen in Jesus' name. But if you got cancer and I was healed, I certainly wouldn't want to go back to whatever I was doing before that caused the cancer. You see what I'm saying? So that's the way I see it. So why not start doing that right now? And that's why I wanted to talk to you, because I wanted to talk about some of the things that we are doing here, especially in our diet. That we can start eliminating so that we can have long life. Now, I just want to say real quick, a big shout out to Shelly Love. Hi, girlfriend. Glad to know that you're on board. Glad to have you. Also, a big shout out to Marcia Eileen. Good night, Marcia. Make sure that you're telling me, giving honor to those people who have cancer, who had cancer, who are passed away with cancer. You know, anyone that you know with cancer, I want you to give us a call, 246-467-1046. Dr. Andrea Beth says right here on Facebook, my mother was diagnosed with cancer in 1998, but she lived for 8 years before she passed away in 2006. But note that she died in August 2006 after she stopped taking the medication in April 2006. She died when she stopped taking the medication. Now, Andrea, you didn't say what kind of medication she was taking, if it was natural medication, you know, what kind of medication. So I want you to expound on that a little bit more so that we can talk about it. Okay, Andrea? Love you. All right. In the meantime, you were talking about the food that we're eating.
The trends.
Yes, the trends. What are some other bad trends that we've developed other than sugar?
I could say stress.
Oh, God,
Stress is on the increase right across the board in families, not just husbands or wives, but kids experiencing stress as well.
No doubt.
Environmental toxicity, environmental pollution.
Yes. Something that we can't
cell
get away
phone
from.
interferences.
Yes. Not sleeping with your cell phone.
Yes.
Yep, I know, and a lot of people are doing that. I am very, very familiar with that. You know, you know people who sleep with their gadgets on the bed next to them all night.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's not such a good thing.
Not a good thing.
But it's principally the nutritional impact.
Yes.
The foods and the drinks that we're eating and using are creating the biggest inflammation buildup.
Wow.
And that is really it. Cancer is the result of inflammation overload.
Inflammation overload. Okay.
That's
so
exactly
when you see,
what it is.
so if I see, I'm just going to be real. If I see someone with, say, a cancer wart or whatever, you know, you see them on the lip or, you know, in the face, or someone on the exterior of the body, that's also inflammation.
You mean like a large tumor?
Large tumor, yes.
That definitely is inflammation buildup.
That is inflammation buildup as well. So it's something that is attacking, and then it just builds up and inflames and inflames and inflames.
It's also the body's way of removing the inflammation from itself.
Yeah.
So we see patients with some extensive, some not so extensive breast tumors.
Yes.
And there's pus. You can, in the course of a day, you can fill a small little shot wine glass full of pus or toxicity that comes out of that.
Right.
Right.
Well, we're going to come back in just a moment. We're going to talk to Dr. Stan right here on Carita Dee.
Sister, best friend, oh, the message is still the same. A girlfriend, get alive. Oh, girlfriend, get alive.
This is Caribbean Newsline.
I'm Renee Sion.
I'm Ricardo Roberts.
I am Peter Richards.
Kenton Chance.
I'm Nicole Best, and this is Caribbean Newsline. Join us weekdays, Monday to Friday, live on CaribVision.
Be prepared. Get cash in case ATMs stop working after the hurricane.
Sister, best friend, oh, the message is still the same. A girlfriend, get alive. Oh, girlfriend, get alive.
Well, you're back with me, Carita Dee. So glad to have you back in the house. And of course, this is another terrific time for all of us to get together and really, really zero in on this incredible topic, the topic of cancer. I believe it's the most feared word in the world right now. And it ought not to be so, because if we are really following the right path, the right spiritual path, we'll know that we're not supposed to be fearful of anything. As a matter of fact, the Bible says, be anxious for nothing. So we really shouldn't be fearful. And Dr. Stan, we were just talking just a little while ago, and we were talking about the fact that there are things that can inflame and cause inflammation, and that's mainly the source of what's happening with this cancer.
Yes.
How can we get rid of the inflammation in our bodies is what I'm asking.
Well, we need to follow the direction that's in the Bible.
Interesting.
And I make no excuse for starting the conversation with that.
Right.
The good book says, the Lord says, He's put herbs on this earth for our use and benefit.
Yes.
And a lot of what we're hinting just now, a lot of the foods that even our kids and their kids are eating using on a daily basis are of little value nutritionally. A lot of fried foods, a lot of heavy or high sugar content items are being consumed.
Yes.
And all of these things lead to inflammation buildup within the human body.
Definitely.
And that's why the cancer numbers are not going down. And right across the board, irrespective of gender, male, female, it doesn't matter. You're seeing the numbers are rising and rising and rising. Even though, and I like to say, we've made in medicine some tremendous strides and advances, but yet the number of cancer deaths and incidents of cancer, various cancers across the board, are not going down. One other point I want to make very quickly, because a lot of our audience and people that we speak to are church members.
Absolutely.
And I have a problem because I see, even in church circles, cancer right across the board. I don't care whether you're a Sunday keeper, a Friday keeper, Saturday keeper, it doesn't matter.
That's right.
Right across the board, the incidence of cancer incidences we have are on the increase.
Yes.
Why is that?
That to me is, I'm totally right there with you. That to me is what I find the most challenging. That I could be in a church which is supposed to heal me,
Yes.
which is supposed to bring me the knowledge for healing.
Your body's a temple, if I can interject that.
Yes,
Right.
of the living God. So therefore, if your body is the temple of the Holy Spirit,
How come?
then how come cancer is living inside there with the Holy Spirit?
Exactly. Exactly.
And I would like somebody to tell me that. If you've got an answer to that, please tell me.
There's some wonderful religions out there,
Yep.
Pentecostal,
Right? Remember,
Catholic,
doesn't matter.
Adventist, and excuse me, I've seen even in Adventist circles, and Adventists, Seventh Adventists have a wonderful health message.
Yes, they do.
But I have noticed, I have several patients that are Adventists that come down with cancer.
Wow.
And I said to myself, how could that be when you are almost living a vegetarian, vegan type
Absolutely. No,
lifestyle?
right.
Where is that coming from?
Are you really living it?
Well, here's the thing. Several years ago, for whatever reason, and I'm not knocking Adventists.
No. We're not
I have
knocking
a brother
anybody.
that's an Adventist
Yes,
pastor.
but we want to find out what's the deal? What's the dealio?
They made some serious changes
Yeah.
to diet recommendations about 20 years ago. And for whatever reason, they decided, well, I know the good book said that the Lord, after the flood came, he suggested or recommended that there are now certain foods, yes, certain meats I want you to eat and others I don't want you to eat.
Correct.
And that was spelled out. There were clean meats
Correct.
and unclean meats.
Correct.
Adventist folks of 20, 30 years ago, could be a little bit less, could be a little bit longer, decided, no, you're more spiritual or you're closer to God if you're vegan. So then
which
they
is their
start...
prerogative, and I just want to put a disclaimer in very, very quickly. You know, we're not knocking any one religious group whatsoever. We just want to find out why in the case of certain things where we should be exempt from it if we had made a radical change, how is it that we are still seeing these instances of cancer, you know, pop up,
Right.
basically?
And here was where I believe the mistake was made. It was the introduction of soya-based items into the diet, into the vegetarian diet. TVPs, that's an abbreviation for texturized vegetable protein. Those are made, it's like chunks. I call it dog food.
Wow.
It's made in large, first of all, large aluminum vats. And this is why we're noticing there's an increase in Alzheimer's and dementia, Parkinson's and other diseases connected with high levels of aluminum within the bloodstream. But those folks, and a lot of Rastas also, were using those items and coming down with cancer.
Yes. I don't understand that. I'm like, my feeling is, if I'm going to deprive myself of some chicken.
Okay. I can tell you love chicken. Okay.
If I'm going to deprive myself of some chicken, and I'm going to deprive myself of some pork, you understand? And I'm going to deprive myself of eggs and this and that. Boy, if I came down with anything, I'd be mad.
But that is what we've been seeing.
Yes, we have.
And
just want to make light of it real quick.
With younger folks in our population,
No doubt.
Adventists or not. Now, let's take it away from the Adventists and look at anyone that decide to go down that road, particularly with these
any vegetarian, for whatever reason.
Foods items, meat items, meat substitutes, right? And also they were selling, and still are, sausages that have the flavor of pork. They're not pork. There's no pork meat in there, pork flavored.
Wow.
And the folks don't seem to understand that you've introduced dyes, you've introduced flavors, you've introduced artificial ingredients, which are having negative effects on the body.
Unbelievable. So listen to me, folks who are watching us right now tonight. Once again, we don't want to, don't write me, don't call me, don't send me letters. What we're trying to do is just look at things very holistically and see exactly why the decisions we make, whether they're spiritual decisions or natural decisions, not to eat some foods, how come we are still seeing these rises in cancer and these kinds of things? So we're going to come back, okay? And don't call me. I'm going to come back in just a moment as we continue our discussion, real discussion tonight on cancer.
Sister, best friend, no, the message is still the same. A girlfriend, get alive. Oh, girlfriend, get alive.
We are on Facebook. Join the growing CaribVision community today. Go to www.facebook.com/CaribVision. Be a part of our online family, whether you are located in Canada, the USA, or even farther away. CaribVision is about what it means to be from the Caribbean, our culture, our lifestyles, our voices. Log on or switch us on. CaribVision.
This hurricane tip comes to you compliments the Caribbean Disaster Emergency Management Agency and the Caribbean Media Corporation. Be prepared. A hurricane watch means there is a possibility of a hurricane within 36 hours.
Lamestream media outlets were falling all over themselves last week as the looming government shutdown was being reported on. Armageddon-style countdown clocks appeared at the bottom of our TV screens on a 24/7 basis. CNN and MSNBC devoted hours-long programs to the event, and they tried to spin the blame in the direction of the administration. Nancy Pelosi, who once referred to government shutdowns as legislative arson, voted twice this last week to do just that.
Sister, best friend, no, the message is still the same. A girlfriend, get alive. Oh, girlfriend, get alive.
Well, you're back with me, Carita Dee. So glad to have you back in the house. And we're talking about cancer tonight. And we want to get this fear, this stigma out of cancer so that we can really see what changes we need to make in our lives so that we can avoid it. Like I was sharing earlier,
Yes.
right here with Dr. Stab, I've got a 96-year-old aunt who made some change, who obviously did something in her life. And she really kept a very simple diet. That's one of the things that I noticed about her. Sweet potato. Gosh, that woman loves some sweet potato. Okay. And so she's never eating, when she made soup, she didn't make it with flour. She made like the dumplings. Gosh, I love me a dumpling. But but she didn't make the dumplings with flour.
Yes.
She made her dumplings with cornmeal.
Cornmeal.
Okay, so she made that substitute. So it was the ginger tea, the cornmeal, the sweet potato. She loves the ground provisions, as we call it, down here in the Caribbean. And so she ate a very, simple diet.
Yes.
She was a wine drinker, and
Red wine is good.
red wine.
Nothing wrong
She
with
just
that.
drank her red wine, a glass every night, and or maybe two. If she's listening, she knows who she is. And incredibly, here it was that she's 96 years old today, and we have really long livers in our, long people who live long in our family.
I'm going to hazard a guess. She had fairly normal blood pressures.
I'm not. I didn't have any. I wouldn't know
Because
that.
resveratrol, which is the
Oh,
key
yes.
thing.
My mother said that the other day. They
Right.
said that her blood pressure is like a 20-year-old.
Right.
She
Okay.
sure did. She
The
just went to the
resveratrol.
doctor.
Yeah.
Wow.
Red wine, the key ingredient there,
Yes, they did
therapeutic
say that.
of value, is the resveratrol.
Whoa.
And this is why in France, the folks over there.
So you mean
have-
I could drink my wine every night? Oh, help
a
me.
glass of red wine, you're not
give me
getting
an
drunk
excuse.
with it. A little glass of red wine is perfectly okay.
I'm sorry, I was just kidding. Everybody knows I had the addiction to wine. So.
No,
But
that's
seriously,
perfect. Yes.
Andrea Bass says, my mother didn't die. This was a lady that we talked to before. She said, my mother didn't use natural medication, but although she was aware of natural stuff that was either good or at preventing or containing cancer, she was reluctant to fully endorse them. She was obese most of her life and believed that this contributed to her contracting breast cancer. She would always warn us about our diet and becoming overweight. She would always suggest that I incorporate soursop fruit and the leaves as tea in my diet and aloes, but she would never try them. Oh,
great recommendation.
she was telling everybody, and she didn't.
Had some of the
Because we
answers
have soursop in the Caribbean, for those of you who are watching
Graviola.
around the world, which is an incredible cancer-fighting natural fruit.
Sure.
Yeah, yeah.
The leaves of the soursop, down in South America, they call it graviola.
Graviola.
And very, very powerful antioxidant potential.
Yeah.
So yes, I have put together for patients that I see with cancer a tea. I call it Dr. Stan's Cancer Tea, where we've got the graviola in there, we've got lemongrass, we've got turmeric, we've got a bunch of other anti-inflammatory cancer-fighting agents in there for folks to take. But we were talking a little bit, and I want to go back there for reason, about the incidence of cancer in our societies here within the Caribbean.
Yes.
Coming down to lower levels in terms of age.
Yes.
We have children, very young age, forget the diabetes I mentioned just now, people shooting insulin.
Yeah.
We have children now with cancer, 10 and 12 and 17 and 18 years old. And to me, that is
not good.
Really heartbreaking.
It's sad.
It's heartbreaking.
But you know what? I understand what you're saying, because what we do now, we get up every morning and we give them sugar, right? Because now, unfortunately, breakfast cereals loaded with sugar.
Yes.
So it starts off that.
Yes.
Nobody's cooking eggs anymore or anything like that. Yes. So they get up and they eat sugar. Then they go to school and they got those little juice boxes and stuff which are full of more sugar.
Yes.
Right? Yes. And then they eat fast food. Okay? So now you have no nutrition. Absolutely. And then by the time they get home at night, they eat more fast food. Yes. Okay? And more juice, juice with more sugar.
You're
like,
absolutely
oh God,
correct.
the poor children.
Yes. You're absolutely spot on with that analysis.
And then, of course, they're eating on, all the other sugar stuff. That
yes, and on top of that, they're probably drinking with their meal or with anything, either water or juice or some sweet product.
Yes.
And that puts it now beyond their control.
Wow.
Beyond their control.
So now the body is used to that. I remember when many years ago I lived in the United States. I lived in the United States for 27 years, and many years ago when I was living in the U.S., there was a little girl that I used to take care of, and the little girl, her mother was an epidemiologist, and so she was a nutritionist as well, and she was very, very adamant that she would not have any candy at all. When she went to school for the first day, there was a little girl that had a chocolate, and she took it in her hands and she played with it like it was like putty. Like, what on earth is this? Yes. Which tells me that if the body doesn't know it, it don't crave it.
Yes, yes. Amazing times, I would say, yet ahead for us.
Yes.
Horrible things are going to happen, and this is why.
We don't want
and
that.
I thank you for the invitation here. We have to begin to educate our folks.
Definitely.
Right across the board, from the preschooler all the way up to the granny these days.
Yes.
Because there are even folks, I know we have younger grandmothers these days, but there are folks that are mothers and fathers and grandfathers and grandmothers that are coming down with cancer.
Yes.
Whereas years ago, and I said this on a radio program this morning, we were talking about diabetes. I said, I don't remember, my granny lived to be 103. I do not remember anyone, and I was raised by her, grew up around her. I don't remember anyone in her community, the community in which we live, coming down with diabetes or had high blood pressure.
Wow.
You see, forget cancer. Nobody in those days had cancer.
Days had that kind of stuff.
So what is it? How is it then you're looking maybe 20 years beyond that, 30 years beyond that? What has happened?
Exactly.
That has changed that scenario there. What has
Our
happened?
diet.
It's exactly so. Nothing else.
Yes.
It's what we are now eating.
Yes. I eat badly.
The
I need
foods
to eat better. You're always
Yes.
encouraging me to eat better.
Yes.
I'm overweight because I'm not eating well.
The foods we're eating now are so contaminated, they're
Yes.
so polluted, they're so vitamin, mineral deficient.
Yes.
And then we do stupid things like we're not taking a laxative.
Ooh.
There are
Say
folks
so.
in the Caribbean, I guarantee you, Carita,
Yes.
that
yes.
haven't had a laxative, and I'll let you continue.
That
For
is
years,
so.
for years.
We're about to go. I take a break and get a laxative. We'll be right back. Coming right back to the Carita Dee TV Show.
Sister, best friend, or wife. The message is still the same. A girlfriend get a life. Oh, girlfriend get a life.
Over here I have some finely chopped seasonings that I'm gonna add to the batter. I have some really finely chopped onions here, so I'm just gonna flake it. I like big chunks of the saltfish in the fritters or the akra, so just stir all those seasonings into the flour. Now you can add some of that green seasoning. So the akra batter has been sitting for about 45 minutes, and if you notice, it's risen a little bit, and that's because of the yeast and the baking powder in it.
Well, you're back with me, Carita Dee. So glad to have you back in the house. Of course, it's the Carita Dee Show, and it's all about empowering women and helping us to get back on track. We've got Dr. Stan in the house with us right now, and Dr. Stan and I were joking with each other just before the break. We were talking about the importance of taking laxatives, of course. Before we get to that, I just want to say a big shout out to Tyler Bell, who says, I heard people usually use soya for getting their protein supplement. If soya is not safe, what are good alternatives for getting the protein without the risk of cancer?
There are various other substitutes.
Fish.
Well, you can get your proteins from fish.
Yeah.
If you're using chicken, they should be organically raised.
Organically raised, yes.
I know that's a fairly big issue with lots of folks. They like the chicken, but you can go that route.
No doubt about it.
You can also incorporate more nut dishes.
Yes.
You see, let me just say this though, the body really doesn't need that much protein. Okay, you can eat you can eat 10, 12 almonds.
Yeah.
And you have all the protein you need for the day.
That's right.
So this business that we must have meat or we must have a large chunk of whatever.
Oh, yeah.
In order to fulfill, I don't know what needs that's fulfilling, but from a nutritional standpoint, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
Right.
And it's negative in terms of benefits to the body. See.
So, if hope that answers your question, Tyler. In the meantime, I personally want to know what are some of the things that we have, especially down here in the Caribbean, that are really beneficial for our diet, and some of the things that we ought to be eating to keep the inflammation away. Because a lot of times we don't know what things that we should be eating and what things we should not be eating.
Right.
One of the things that I've heard recently is keeping your body in an alkaline state. I know a lot of people have been talking about that. Yeah. And basically they list these foods that keep your body in an alkaline state. What are some of the things that...
we hinted on that a little while ago, so let's go back to that.
So let's go back to some of those foods.
It's detoxification.
Right.
A lot of folks, we said also a little while ago.
Before you go on, I'm one of these curious people,
Yes.
okay? So I know the people, when you hear that, they really don't quite know what it is.
Right.
So when you say detoxify.
I was going to break it down.
Yeah, what should I go to the store and
but
get?
let me go back to what a point we made before,
Yeah.
which was the laxative issue.
Okay, so I need to get laxative.
We need to take, on a fairly regular basis.
How regular?
Back in the day,
Like once
my
a
grandma
month?
used to give it to me, whether it was Cenopods, castor oil, or whatever.
I hated that.
Okay, but
I hate that.
It allows you to have beautiful skin.
It did.
In your 60s,
you're right.
okay?
You are right.
Right.
My mother used to give us that, and then she'd give us a half of an orange
Okay.
to eat right after it so that it wouldn't stay in your mouth.
Look
But
at the
you're right.
science behind it. We eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and most of us eat something, whether it's healthy or not, between those meals.
Can you judge it by the odor of your poopy?
Can you judge what?
Can you judge like how
The
toxic you
effectiveness?
are by the odor of your poopy?
Well, it says, well, are you eliminating sufficiently well, or are you storing?
Storing.
A lot of people store.
Yeah.
And this is the point we're making. That builds up, putrefaction takes place. Why or how? Because let's say we're eating predominantly meats.
Yes.
We're eating meats and we're drinking and eating with our meals. The food will never ever be digested because you've just diluted. God in His wisdom put digestive enzymes and hydrochloric
so you
acid.
shouldn't drink and
so
eat at the
you
same
shouldn't
time.
eat and drink at the same time.
Okay.
That causes putrefaction of the items that are in the gut.
And what does that mean? Putrefaction.
That means that you're now going to create maggots. The food is rotting within your gut. Inflammation builds up. Inflammation builds up. And increase in diabetes, increase in other autoimmune dysfunctions such as Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, rheumatoid arthritis, you name it. Celiac disease.
Laxative tomorrow.
So a laxative on a regular basis is very important. Or we have to increase the fiber content of the foods and so on we're taking in on a daily basis so that we have a proper, true, and effective quality elimination. My granny would say, if you go and you're stooling and you're putting out little pieces, she used to call them goat rolls. Those tiny little drops, like a full stop. You're constipated.
How many of us have had some goat rolls? Yeah.
Your stool, folks,
should be nice and big and long.
I don't know if you can see this pen.
It should be
about
long like
6
this?
or 7 inches long.
Oh my gosh.
And as big as a quarter, as big as a dollar bill.
Wow.
Barbados dollar bill.
So it should be like that.
Yes.
And long as this.
At least 1.25 inches in diameter.
Wow.
If you're doing anything less,
okay, we all need some help, don't we?
you have problems, and the blood feeds off of what is in there.
What is left in there. So you're building it up and it's building up and building up.
Toxicity builds up.
So what kind of laxatives are best? Natural laxatives or, because I'm sure there are artificial laxatives out there as well.
When you say laxative, people want to say, well, okay, and I would agree with that. Maybe go with high fiber content items.
Correct.
Within the diet. But there's nothing wrong with taking a little Cenopod. There's nothing wrong with taking a little Epsom salts. Aloe is also excellent.
Yeah. When you take the Epsom salts, then how do you just
mix it with a little juice. Or water and juice, and down the hatch, and that's it. Eat an orange or an apple or something after to take the taste out your mouth, and you're good to go. But our kids, and let me say this, and I stand corrected, folks. I want someone to put me to this test. We have children in right across the Caribbean, 18 years and a little bit older. Some of those kids have never taken or had given to them a laxative. Some of them cannot even spell the word laxative.
I know, that's right.
Okay.
These children don't know anything about a laxative. We knew laxatives when we were small. But look how, you're right, look how it's affecting their lives now.
Yes.
Wow. Today we're talking about cancer, and hopefully we are doing it in a light enough way that you don't have a fear of cancer. We just want to be able to educate you to the point where now we can make some changes in our lives and bring those statistics down. Unfortunately, many of us have lost.
Treatment options are there.
Exactly.
To resolve it completely.
Exactly. Yeah. Many of us have lost loved ones. I just want to say real quick that I'm going to talk about this when we come back from the break, but my dad had been diagnosed with prostate cancer.
Okay.
And my grandfather, which is my mother's father, had prostate cancer. And when he actually passed away in his 90s, he no longer had prostate cancer because he had been treated for it and the body had healed from the prostate cancer. So he didn't die from prostate cancer, which is very interesting.
Totally different.
Yes. So it means that we can be cured. So people, I'm just going to say this. We're getting ready to go into the next break. But I want you to stay here with me because Dr. Stan has got some amazing information on how you can be cured. Hey, I'm Carita Dee. We're going to be coming back in just a moment.
Sister, best friend or wife, the message is still the same. A girlfriend get alive. Oh, girlfriend get alive.
We're gonna add some black pepper there. Season your fish with however you like to season your fish. So this pot has been boiling here for about 20 minutes, 20-25 minutes. So we're gonna check on it and see what's happening now.
So you're back with me, Carita Dee. I'm so glad to have you back in the house. And we're talking about cancer. We're not talking about it in a way where it's so above your head that you just don't get anything from the discussion. But we want to talk about it in a real way, like we're talking about taking care of your poopy. And knowing how to take care of it and flushing it out and things like that, so that we can really educate ourselves no matter what level of society we're on. We can all understand this. And so Dr. Stat is in here with me so that we are breaking this cancer syndrome. And we're going to have many, many discussions about this over the next few months so that we can come to a better understanding of how to take care of ourselves and eradicate this disgusting word called cancer, which is easily eradicated anyway. I was telling you just a little while ago, my dad had been diagnosed with prostate cancer, and my stepmother did something really remarkable. When the scale, I was telling you, I don't know what that scale is. They showed me, but I don't know what it is medically.
The PSA.
The PSA, that's what it is. So his was at a 7.
Yeah.
Something like
Slightly over.
Slightly over.
I've had patients with PSAs in the 100s.
Oh, good Lord.
In the high 90s.
High 90s? Okay. Yes. Well, his was up somewhere in that area. And so they were concerned, and they did biopsy, etc. So my stepmother went, and she, someone had told her to get some asparagus, okay? Now, asparagus is that little bumpy vegetable that's long like this, like thin and like this. In case any of you don't know, you can go into one of the big supermarkets and get the asparagus. They sell them by the bunch. And she took the bunch and she singed it in hot water to get that, you know, for a couple minutes to get the bacteria off. And then she put it in the blender with some water. And she blended it into a drink. Now, the drink is green, of course, and my dad is like totally not digging a green drink. But she gave it to him every day. I can't remember how many times, maybe 2 or 3 times a day. And 30 days later, Daddy goes back to the doctor, and it's down to 0.3. I'm like, what on earth? You got to be kidding me. So obviously there are things, like you said, nutritional things that can help to alter these statistics that they give us.
The next sentence I'm about to say, you can say it better than I can.
Okay, what is that?
But God in His wisdom have placed things on this earth to resolve every single health challenge
I
that
totally
mankind is
believe that.
likely to face.
Totally believe that.
And I believe that with all my
There should never
heart.
be something
Yes.
that God doesn't have
Yes.
the cure for.
Yes. Okay.
That's
In
right.
our clinic, as I said, we see a lot of folks with cancer and other chronic diseases. But the strategies and protocols we use to resolve cancer issues are based on exactly what the German cancer centers are doing. And these are medical doctors, by the way, not
Right.
naturopathic doctors.
Correct.
Medical doctors in Germany who've jumped over the other side of the fence.
Yes.
They're not too much or at all endorsing chemoradiation or surgery.
Not at all.
These guys are going with powerful natural protocols and are getting fantastic results up and down. You know that because the movie stars, the Hollywood, the ball players,
Yes, they're all going over there.
Magic, HIV,
Yes,
whatever,
yes.
20-something years ago,
They're
as you
all going
mentioned.
there.
Hey, he said he had HIV. And now the guy looks stronger than you or me put
That's
together.
exactly right.
You know?
That's right.
So it's gone.
It's gone.
Okay.
The levels are non-existent.
Jennifer Lopez, her auntie, God bless her, she's still alive.
Yeah.
Several years ago, came down with ovarian cancer. Went to Germany. The strategies that they have up there, which we have in Barbados,
Yes.
took care of that. Donna Summers.
Yes,
remember
I
her,
remember
beautiful
Donna Summers
actress.
before she died.
She's
yeah.
still alive. No, she's still alive.
I thought she died.
No, yeah.
Is it Donna or somebody else? One of those stars that you were telling me about. I don't think it was Donna because I think Donna died. But you probably
Donna.
you probably forgot one of those stars. All those stars sound like. But I remember you were telling me about one of those stars.
Okay.
Anyway,
Yes.
Yeah.
But she is still alive today.
Right.
She's still alive today, and
Yeah.
she had breast cancer.
Right. Right. So it's amazing that so many people have beaten this thing, and we do know that we have the resources to beat it. We're going to be coming back more,
Absolutely.
all the time. You and I are going to be chatting quite frequently over the next few months about some of the amazing things that are being done right here in Barbados that a lot of people don't know, that I have an inside track on,
Right.
thanks to you. So I'm kind of giving them a little tidbit to know that there's some stuff coming, so they need to stay here with me every night, so that you will truly, truly understand there's some remarkable advancements coming, and it is truly saving some lives. So if you want to know, just stay here with me. I'm going to come back in just a moment and tell you some more things on how we can fight cancer.
Sister, best friend or wife, the message is still the same. A girlfriend get alive, oh, girlfriend get alive.
Festival again, festival again, festival again, festival again, festival again, festival again, festival again. The Caribbean's greatest summer line, yeah, it's coaching all the time. 44 is the hair, I know you love it here. Troops and festivities, we love the Caribbean. The all night, no time for sleep, emancipate with we. Back to the folklore, culture on the 44. Back to the folklore, welcome to our island shore. Back to the folklore, entertainment to die for. Back to the folklore, culture on the 44.
Sister, best friend or wife, the message is still the same. A girlfriend get alive, oh, girlfriend get alive.
Well, you're back with me, Carita Dee. I cannot believe how fast the time has gone. Incredible amount of time has gone. We just want to say so much thanks to Dr. Stan. Dr. Stan, you're going to be coming back and talking to me because I'm having great fun with you.
Absolutely, not a problem.
Simply because we want to talk about these things that people don't want to talk about. And the only time we get to talk about something like cancer is when you hear that someone has it. Yes. And other than that, it's kind of like one of those things that we stay away from and we're scared to talk about. And it's like, oh, duty, you know. So, and I want to take the fear factor out of it so that we can just start dealing with our lives, right? Yes. Just want to say a big shout out to Jackie Carrington. Jackie says, he is so right. So she is totally agreeing with you. And Clarissa and Clark Franklin says she's watching from Florida.
Make that correction too, please, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
It wasn't Donna Summers, it was Suzanne
Summers. That's who it was. That's right, Suzanne Summers. She did use the natural method. She did not have chemotherapy, and she's still living today.
And she's still around today, looking as great as ever. Written a number of books on her situation.
Yes.
Wonderful story. Wonderful story.
That's right. That's right. Man, I just got to say to the girlfriends, once again, thank you, Dr. Stan. We're going to be coming back and talking some more. Hey, listen, if you're out there listening and you've got someone who you know has cancer, or you have someone who died from cancer. We certainly all know of those people. Just lost someone just a little while ago. The church had prayed over them, believed, everything. And then lo and behold, she dies. And sometimes that can rock your faith. It can make you feel like, okay, is the pastor really telling me the truth? Is God really hearing me? You know, it starts to rock your faith. And we're not here to rock your faith. What we're here to say is that God is still true. His word is still alive, but he's given us some other things. And if we can incorporate it, spirit, soul, and body, it will get us to the point where we can truly come out of these dark areas of our lives, whether it's cancer or diabetes or whatever, and really become conquerors. So don't be dismayed when something like that happens. It just means some element is missing. Hey, listen, have a great night. We're going to be coming back tomorrow, and we're going to be talking about some sexual human trafficking right here in the Caribbean. I'm Carita Dee, and I'm inviting you to come back because we girlfriends, we're going to get a life.